Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar, Integrated Quality Assurance Solution within SharePoint. I'm your host, Ellie Stutz. I'm Knowledge Manager for PNMsoft. And today we have with us a special guest, Moni Cohen. Hello, Moni.
Hello.
Moni is the Quality Assurance Project Manager for PNMsoft. He has 10 years of experience as a business analyst and manager of BPM projects for PNMsoft and Amdocs, including solutions for Hazara Genetics and Tnuva. He has special expertise in the field of quality assurance process management, and he's currently designing a complete SharePoint quality assurance solution which incorporates document management and active processes. And we're actually going to be taking a look at a live demo of that solution as we go along through this webinar today. So the format of today's webinar is, first off, I'm going to be talking about two disciplines which have emerged as the primary disciplines in the field of quality assurance. Then we're going to be looking at a combined approach, combining those two disciplines into one. Then we're going to be talking about SharePoint as a quality management interface and why it's ideal as such. Then we're going to be jumping into our live demo of sequence quality assurance. If we have time, we'll take a look at a case study or two. We'll be summing up with some benefits, and we'll be taking questions at the end. So that's the format. Let's take a look at quality assurance and quality management systems in general and see what's most important when it comes to quality management. Now, quality management is obviously the systems which an organization puts in place in order to ensure their product quality and to be constantly improving on that quality. So it turns out that the first major focus for how to achieve that top quality is a focus on the process. And we see this in the definition itself of quality management, which basically uses quality assurance and control of processes as well as products to achieve more consistent quality. In ISO, the ISO 9000 family of standards, which is the quality assurance standards, puts a very strong focus on a process approach. And really the reason behind that is that in order to achieve top quality, you have very common processes which are cross-industry, such as non-conformities, such as corrective and preventive maintenance, such as audits, such as customer claims and complaints. And these are processes which need to be standardized in order to achieve top quality. They need to be optimized and standardized. And that's really the first focus that has emerged as a real discipline in quality assurance management. What's the second one? The second one is very simple, very basic, but it's really taken a center stage. It's quality assurance documentation. The need for creating organizational documents which outline quality assurance requirements has really come to the fore. And why is this? Because this is the way that the standards, the requirements, the rules can be, first of all, formulated, and second of all, distributed to the organization, and third of all, kept to, as in this is really the only way for an organization to verify that the requirements are known and are kept to. So systems need to be put into place which manage the documentation. You need to be able to have a system which enables creation of the document, versioning of the document, approval cycles, and then publishing of that document to make sure that it gets distributed. So that's really the second major discipline, which is the QA documents. So really we have two distinct disciplines, the process and the document. And what's emerged is that organizations are managing these two disciplines in separate systems. They use two different systems to manage these important disciplines. And the problem when you have two separate systems is, A, you have a lack of coordination between the people who use these two systems, the users. You have a lack of collaboration, lack of visibility, because you have things sitting in two systems. You have a doubling of IT development costs. You have loss of data and errors when there's discrepancies between the two systems, and you have things which fall between the cracks when an organization thinks that something's in the other system. Really, it's not. It falls between the cracks. So those are some of the problems which have emerged managing quality assurance in two separate management systems. So what we're suggesting here at PNMsoft is a combined approach, and this is called sequence quality assurance. And here we are integrating these two disciplines into one unified solution, and all within a SharePoint interface. On the one hand, you have the document management, which is very powerful within SharePoint, and we add to that with processes which enable document approval cycles, version management, correct distribution to the right groups within the organization. And on the other hand, you have management of like kicking off and initiation, tracking and monitoring of the common QA industry processes, such as claims, risk management, audits, corrective and preventive maintenance, non-conformities, and more. And all that within a very collaborative SharePoint company portal, which, and as you know, SharePoint has become really at the forefront of organizational collaboration. And so organizations are already using SharePoint to collaborate on documents, to share information. And here we've been able to implement both of these disciplines within that common interface. So people don't have to go to some other interface in order to collaborate on quality assurance. They can do it all within SharePoint. And how do we do this? So Sequence has two interfaces. What you're looking at right now is our App Studio. And in the App Studio, the developers of the process put it together. They design the workflow, the flow logic of starting a process and determining from which person to which person the process flows within the organization. And this is done in a very simple manner of drag and drop of activities, simple click, and it goes onto the workflow canvas, and then another click, couple clicks, you have these activities are connected to each other, and in a very easy and simple, intuitive, business-oriented manner, these quality assurance workflows can be put together with a very rapid time to solution. So that's the first interface, which is really the design interface. And the second interface is our SharePoint runtime interface, where the users, the end users, which is really anyone in your organization, logs into the SharePoint runtime interface of Sequence. And here, any user can kick off a quality assurance process. And as you can see some of them here: claim, corrective action, document approval. They're all here in the SharePoint runtime interface. And that's the second interface of Sequence. And right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into this interface and see a live demo of 3 out of these quality assurance processes. That's all we have time for in this webinar. And I want to mention that the runtime interface here, it's very configurable because SharePoint is made up of web parts, and your organization can determine what web parts to show at any point in the interface here according to your requirements. So let's jump into the demo where we're going to see 4 of our quality assurance processes: document approval and publishing, non-conformities, corrective and preventive actions, and audits. And let's go right now to Moni, and we're going to go right now to that live demo right now. Okay, Moni.
Okay, hello everyone. Hi, hello everyone, this is Moni Cohen here. Can you see my screen?
Yep, can see your screen very well.
Okay. So, as Ali mentioned, we are now looking at a SharePoint website, and under this website we added our solution. So you can see the list of processes I can initiate, or I can be a contribute for those processes. But before we start with these processes, let's go ahead and look in some document libraries. So I set a document library here and gave an example for 2 sites. It could be 2 factories and more. It's just an example. In each site, I added libraries such as forms, procedures, and working instructions. Under under each library, I added a short hierarchy for some of the departments like maintenance, marketing, quality assurance, and so on. Once I dive into one of the libraries, you can see the list of documents, and you can see the type of documents, because you can add as many types, as many documents as you like. You can see the name of the document is approval status. You can see that I have two. I have approved and drafts. You can see the version, because we have a strong version management and history and version history at SharePoint. You can see that only approved documents have a round version, and the draft have only a 0 point something version. You can see that we added also some columns for the approved comments and the document initiator and the document approver. You can also click on the menu, and you can see document properties, which held the list of approvers and initiators and a link to the approving process. And you can add many details. You can also view the version history, of course. But let's say that I would like to take this test document and get it approved. So in order to get it approved, I need to initiate the document approval process.
Now, Moni, I just want to interrupt you for a second.
Yep.
and say that up until now, what you've been showing is native SharePoint document management functionality. And from this point onward, we're going to see actually what we've added, how Sequence has extended this functionality to include a process around the document.
Exactly. So right through the SharePoint menu, I'm clicking on document approval, and it kicks up the document approval process. And you can see this is the first form. You see document approval, initiator form. I'm using a different user here, so you can see the name of the initiator. And I would like to say that in each one of the libraries, we have a specific quality representative who will handle and monitor this process. So I added the same user. This is why you can see it double. So at this page, you can see that at this form, sorry, you can see the document ID. You can see the version. You have a link to the specific document. You can see the document type and the path of the document. You can add an executive summary, which the approver can see later on in the process. And by clicking on submit, I'm initiating the process. Oh, sorry, forgot to add subject. By clicking on submit, the process is route automatically to the quality representative. You can see that in the left side in the process diagram. You can see that now the quality trustee is handling this process. You can see, of course, all the details that the initiator added. You can see the executive summary. And at this stage, the quality trustee need to set the list of approvers. If he decides that, in this case, according to the procedure, this document need to have a reviewer, he can select a reviewer here. And if this document only needs to have an approver, he will select the approver from the list. You can see that the quality representative also have the ability to return the process back to the initiator with his comments. He can add his comments over here and click on the button, and the process will route automatically back to the initiator and reroute again to the quality trustee. Once I click on submit, the process will route to the approver. Of course, we are showing you the process in this specific view, in one view, but each time you see that the user received a task, he will receive a notification through his email and through his Sequence page.
Moni, can we take a look at how this process is designed in the design interface?
Yep, of course. I have here the administration environment, so I can go into the workflow. and I can open document approval process, and you would see this is the chart, the flow chart. You can see that I started the process with the initiation form. Automatically the process routed to the quality trustee, the quality representative, according to the specific the document library, because the document library belongs to one department. And as you saw, the quality representative have two options. One, to add a reviewer, so the process will route first to the reviewer, and if he doesn't select a reviewer, the process will route to the approver. And after the approver approves the process will route again to the quality representative for the document upload and initiating the publish process automatically.
Now, Moni, you also mentioned that the messages are received within sequence or can be received to the person's email. Can we see how they would be received within the SharePoint sequence interface?
Yep. So in this screen you can see the list of processes, but I can also click on the home button and see my inbox. This is my sequence inbox, and we are looking on the my open messages. So you can see that I received from James, I received a document approval workflow with the specific subject, and I can click it, open, and automatically I'm at the same form that I need to respond on.
So really what we're seeing here is that we've integrated the communication within SharePoint. Instead of a person having to go to their Outlook or Gmail or whatever it is, their mail client, they're able to communicate on the process flawlessly within SharePoint.
Exactly, and if we had an Outlook working here, I can go into my inbox, look at the notification I received. In the notification, I can see a lot of details about my process, about my task, and I have a link to the form. Once I click it, I automatically the software will pop up, and I will be inside the specific task I need to complete.
Excellent.
Or to respond to.
Okay, so where are we standing right now? We got into the end of the approval process?
We just need to approve it. I will approve it. You can see that the approver have a decision option. He can approve or decline. Of course, decline will route the process back to the initiator. I will select approve. I can add a comment as an approver. Once I click submit, the process will route to the document upload stage, which is the quality representative last stage. Once he click on the version approval, you will see that the version of the document will no longer be a draft, it will be a round version, which means it's approved process. And once I click it, I will also initiate an automatic publish document process, which is something that I have to do once I approve the document. It's not enough. I need to inform some of the employees that this is the new form or this is the new procedure you have to work from now on.
Mm-hmm. And that ties back to the theory we talked about earlier, which is that with quality assurance documents, it's not just enough to create the document. You have to distribute it to the organization and make sure that it's abided by.
Exactly. Just a second. I have too many open too many windows, so let me complete it. There is also a possibility to go straight to the document, to approve document, and select the document publish option, which also automatically will initiate the process. You can see the document publish. All the details are here, the link to the document. I can tap in the title. I can select the list of recipients. It can be by a specific employee, or it could be by department. Let's say I would like just to inform the legal department, and it relates to the R&D department. And I can also select the due date which they need to respond to. And once I click submit, the recipients will receive a task with a specific link and the due date, and they can also distribute it in their department, and they can add comments, and at the end of the cycle I will receive the list of all the approvers, their signatures and their comments.
Excellent. So that really fleshes out the cycle of the processes surrounding the document, the approving and the publishing.
Okay, so we can move on to the next process.
I believe non-conformity
So back at the
next up.
Yep, the next one is non-conformities. This specific process can be initiated by all the employees in the organization.
Before we jump into it, Monty, let's just explain for people who are newer into the quality assurance field. What are we talking about? What's a non-conformity? What's the process about?
Okay. So this process is basically for reporting on failure events or failures in general, which means that any employee from any department can go on, open a form and report the failure he just experienced or just saw.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in some of our customers, in some of the factories, they have a kiosk station near the assembly line, which help employees who doesn't have a working station by daily basis to go on into this kiosk and open a non-conformity and report any failures during their daily work. So
really, the fact is that this will really improve the detection of problems within a product or an organization, because anyone can report from anywhere.
Exactly. And the next stage will be, after the report and the analysis, the next stage will be to initiate the other linked process, which will be the corrective and preventive action.
Okay,
so let's
take a brief look at how we would perform the non-conformities initiation.
Okay, so at the general details, I can see that I have the creation date and the initiator name, but I can also say that the event didn't occur today. It's event from 2 days before, and I can select the origin, which help us later on to see in the reports what was the most common non-conformities. Is it came from internal or external complaints or audits and so on. I have a place here for the employee to type his name. As I said, for employee who doesn't have a working station, they can use their colleague's working station and type their name here, type the title, and they can indicate if this non-conformity related to human or human safety or health related issues or environmental issues. They check this checkbox. They can type in the description of the event and the description of the first action, what they did. They just reported it, they took some action and did some fixing and so on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think what's important to mention also is that these fields are customizable, as in this is a template we've put together, and you can easily modify these forms and the fields according to your requirements.
Exactly. You can add more details or more values to each drop-down, and you can even translate the labels to any language. It can be Portuguese, it can be Deutsch, it can be any other language.
Okay. Let's move along then.
Okay. At the place of occurrence, I have a list of sites, and each site have a list of departments. According to the selection of the site of the departments, the handle by, which means the quality trustee and the department manager, that will be the one who will handle this non-conformity. It will be routed to them automatically according to the selection. And I also have an option to indicate if this is related to a specific process or specific tool here. And I can also add attachments such as a snapshot, video, or any other document that will help me with my report. Once I submit the process, you'll see that the process will route to the quality trustee, and a notification will be sent to the department manager. You can see a notification to the department manager in order to inform him that a new non-conformity has been submitted in his department, and it's now at the stage of the evaluation with the quality trustee. So if I click on the quality trustee, you can see that he received the same form, but all the details here are already in. He just needs to add more details if he want to. Let's say he would like to add the process step, a specific process step, or he can select the root cause or add more details. But mainly he needs to go ahead and evaluate the report. He will do his analysis in the field, and later on he will say the severity, and he will say if it was a recurring event, and will type in his evaluation.
Okay. And then how would this progress towards the next process, which would be to correct the nonconformity?
So the next step will be to send this process to the, after I added my evaluation, is to route the process to the department manager. And at this stage, you need to have a set of decisions. One of his decisions will be to initiate a linked corrective action. So before I do that, I would like to show something else. Once I selected recurring event, I have an option to link a former process, let's say a former nonconformity that can be related to this specific nonconformity.
Mm-hmm.
This will indicate that it's a recurring event. Once I type an ID, I can check if this process still exists. If it exists, I will receive a link here to the process, and those two processes will be linked.
Mm-hmm.
We added an option,
which is good because that way an organization can discover that various nonconformities have the same root cause, and solving that one root cause will solve those various reports of nonconformities.
Exactly. And let's go to the next stage, to the decision stage. And at the decision stage of the quality trustee, I have the possibility to initiate automatically a corrective action. The corrective action can also be initiated as a standalone process.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, I initiated a corrective action, and at this process we have the general details, mm-hmm. which we need to add the type and the origin of the corrective action. Of course, if it will be a linked process, the origin will be automatically in, and some other details will be automatically shown in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
Because I initiated manually, I need to add the site and department, and also the indication if it relates to human safety and so on. Mm-hmm. We have here a place to say the cause of the initiation of the nonconformity, and to describe the general action that we need to do. Let's say we need to write a new procedure and to fix some of the machinery and to train some of the employees. So I type in all the actions, mm-hmm. and at the next stage, at the assignment stage, sorry, not the assignment stage, right? I assign a specific task to a specific employee. You can see that I selected the user, I select the due date, and I'm typing in his task, and I can add as many assignments as I like to different users, or even the same user with a different due date.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm controlling the process through this specific form, through the initiation form.
So these assignments, how do they get to the users?
Once I click submit on the submit button at the end of the form, those employees will receive a task through the email or through their sequence inbox, and I will demonstrate it in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see the status will be automatically sent once I will click submit. Another section is the effectiveness. We have the possibility to say if this specific action require effectiveness examination. If I say yes, I need to add a due date. The due date is supposed to be later than my last task due date, and the person who will be in charge automatically, as a default, we set the initiator, but it can be any other employee of the organization. I can type in what is their required effective description, and once I click submit, not only the task will be sent, also a task for the effectiveness examination will be sent as well.
Just want to explain, the effectiveness is really a way of assessing how effective the action was, I guess. Like once after it's been performed, after these assignments have been performed to correct whatever problem it was, there's the added step of assessing how effective the action, the corrective or preventive action was.
Exactly. And before I can send it to the approving manager, I need to complete all the tasks and the effectiveness examination, and then I will send it to approval and the process will be completed.
Okay. All right, so maybe should we see a quick example of how the assignments are received and acted on?
Okay. So once I click submit, you can see at the flowchart that we have two assignments, two different employees, and we have an assignment for the quality assessment. If I'm looking now at the one of the assignment, you can see the subject of the corrective action in the description. You can see the assignment, the person who in charge, the due date, and my task. And I have here the option to say at the execution, look at the statuses. The status will be changed according to my selection and my submission. I can say that I just started to work on this specific task. I'm not ignoring the task. I'm just started it. I cannot complete it right now. I can say that I completed and describe what I did, and I can say that it's not executable because, and I can type in the reasons. Once I click on submit, the initiator will receive a notification. You can see a notification to initiator, and the initiator, what he needs to do is only to work with his form, the first form. You can see that he will see the execution date, and you will see the status. You see that the employee rejected the task. He clicks on the view button, and you will see that the assignment is pop up, and you have the ability to approve it, which means that he saw that the user rejected, he is approving the rejection, or he can return it back, add more text to the task, and click on return, and the person will receive a new task, and you can see that the status has changed to returned. And so on.
What we have here is really enterprise task management within the process. It's the ability for a manager to assign work to his team, and then see track where the assignments are standing, and there's flow there. This is process flow, which has been easily set up within the sequence design interface to make sure that these assignments are managed in a proper way.
Exactly. And of course, if I will go to, let's say, we completed all the tasks and this is the time for the effectiveness examination, you can see that at this stage the person who is in charge will see all the details, can see all the tasks, and he needs to, after his examination, need to decide if this process was effective, yes or no, and describe the effectiveness proof and click on submit. Of course, a notification will be sent to the initiator. The initiator will go into the form, we'll see the result of the effectiveness examination, and we'll decide whether to send the process to the approver manager, and we'll send it to the completion of the process.
Excellent.
And if,
okay, here we're in this is the approval form.
Yep, we can click on the approval form. It's the same form. The manager can see all the details. He cannot change anything. He only see the details. And sorry, I didn't click on the form. You can see the details, all the tasks, and he had the ability to approve or decline. Of course, to add his comments, and decline will automatically send a notification to the initiator, and he can read the comments and do other action. Approve will close the process, successfully close the process.
I think what keeps coming back here in the demo that you're showing is the visibility across the whole team here. At every stage, everyone can see, everyone's on the same page. Everyone can see what everyone else did, and you know, depending on your permission, you can't always change everything. You can only really change your role, your part of the task, but you can see what everyone else did, which is clearly key when it comes to collaboration. And again, I wanted to just emphasize that all these, you know, the fields that you showed, the options of whether it be, you know, reject, approve, or otherwise, they're all easily modifiable. You can add whatever options you need for your organization. These are pre-built templates which can be customized. Are we ready to take a look at the final process of the demo, Moni, the audits?
Just before the audits, I would like to show I added a few samples of home pages that I did. I add a home page for a quality director, an executive, and an employee. Each one of them has specific needs. So for the director, I added some of those gauges that indicates the status of the main processes, the main quality processes. Of course, the manager can set the KPIs in order to see in one view his department status or his faculty status. You can see that I can see each process, and I can click on each gauge and go and drill down and to see the list of those 8 processes, and from the list I can go to a specific claim or a specific process.
And these are just SharePoint web parts which have been easily. These are just SharePoint web parts which have been easily integrated into the SharePoint interface here. The documents, the messages, the KPI web parts. You know, it can be easily configured in whichever way you require.
Exactly, and I added more here to the list. I added the list of open messages of the director and a quick view of the document libraries and a quick list of the processes you can initiate or monitor.
So really, I guess also just to bring it back to what we were saying initially, this is the integration of the documents and the processes into this, not only in the same interface, into the exact same screen. We have the management of both QA processes and QA documents in one interface, and that makes it just that much more efficient. Nothing falls in the cracks, between the cracks. Everyone is on the same page. Everyone can track. Everyone can share the information, and it's all in one interface. And not only just any interface. SharePoint, which is already the interface which has become so ubiquitous in organizational sharing and collaboration.
Exactly. So let's go and view the last process, which is the audits. And I initiated a new audit.
This is now just, I think most people who are listening know what an audit is, but here we're talking about an audit of a product, of a system, of a procedure, of a location. It could be a vendor even, and the process here is putting together the audit questionnaire.
Exactly. In this process, I have the ability to plan my yearly audits plan, and also to build templates auditing, let's say for a specific department, specific factory, or a specific vendor. I can type the name of the specific audit. I can select, as you can see, the type of the audit, internal, external, vendors, and so on. Select the due date, and this is how I can plan. I can only submit the first form and leave it aside, and this is how I can assign this audit. I can open as many forms and audits as I like and plan according to the audit due date my yearly working plan. Of course, we have details about the department at the site and the auditor and his assistant, and a lot of information regarding the audit. This is just the plan. And I have here two very nice possibilities. As I said, I have a source audit, which is a list of former audits that I did that I can use as a template in order to save the time into building the same questionnaire. I can select a former audit, and it will be automatically duplicate the subject and the questions, and the questionnaire will be automatically be ready at the next stage. So I'm now building a new audit, and we have another option. It's called the share option, which help us to manage one audit with more than one person, which means that I can divide the work between the auditor and his assistant, and it could be in each one of the stages of the audit process. We have a few fields here that I have to add, such as the response due date. This is the date I would like to receive a response from the person I'm going to audit. You have a place for the certification. Once you go into the department or factory, you can select for his certification and type in the indication and the year of the certification. You can also add here the response date that you receive from the person, and you can also add a document, because if we are auditing someone out of the company, he doesn't have any access to the quality system, so he can send us his response with an email or a document or any other format. We can add it to the process. If we are talking about any internal processes, we can send the response through the process. So let's go on and build a new audit. So the next stage is the subject selection. You can see that we have a list of subjects that I already added, and those are the template. I can add more subject. I can edit them. Let's say I select one or two subjects, or as many as I like. We can use those arrows or double click and change it. We can change the structure by moving the subject up and down. After I build the subject list, submit, we'll route the process to the next stage.
So here, basically, the subject list is basically the main topics that appear in the questionnaire. You just selected them, and here now I guess we're seeing the structure based on your selection.
Exactly. So you can see that the list of all the questions, you can see the scale of each question, and I can delete questions, I can edit them, I can change them, I can add more questions, more subject, and of course at the end this is the list of subject came from the template. You can see that I'm deleting some of them and I'm changing the list, but once I click save, it means that it's saved only for this specific audit. It's not changing the template, of course. And then when I click update, so this is the next stage, which is the editing findings, which is the stage where I can take a laptop or a mobile device or a tablet and go to the specific area which I need to audit and see the question, look at the field and evaluate and type in my findings and even initiate a corrective action through the questionnaire.
So this is actually the point where the audit is actually taking place. The person who's doing the audit is filling out the questionnaire, and it's all being done, as you said, online, and it can be done via mobile device. And I want to mention that Sequence provides a mobile portal which enables to operate all of these processes from an iPad, from a mobile phone. We have a streamlined and more kind of a simpler mobile interface, and I think so that's important. And also, what's important here is we're seeing all this is being done online. It's all web-based. Sequence is 100% web-based. It's not something you don't have to install software on your computer to do all of this. And the corrective action here is being done. We're kicking off a web-based process through a link, and so we're seeing all that happen together in a highly mobile environment. Can be done from anywhere.
Yeah. Let's say that I'm a department manager and I'm doing the audit internally. So as I go along in my department, I can see some of the things that are not as should be. I can automatically, after my finding, I can automatically click on the corrective action, and through here to open a corrective action. And once I finish with the corrective action, I can go ahead and continue with my audit. And you can see that we have also an option here for questionnaire printing, which in case I don't have a mobile device or a laptop, I can print the list of questions, the questionnaire form, go to the field, add my comments, and go back to the working station and add everything afterward here. After I decided if I want to publish, because it's an internal process, I can select yes and submit the process, and it will, I need to select, of course, to whom I want to route it, and I can select the department manager of the specific department I audited, and once I click update, it will automatically send him all of my findings, and he will need to respond to each row by typing his response or by initiating a corrective action. This is for internal auditing.
So what we're seeing is that the audit process is not just putting together a questionnaire, but it's being able to kick off corrective action processes from within the audit process. It's sending the process back and forth between participants. So there's flow here which needs to be programmed in a a workflow interface, and that's what Sequence has. That was the first interface I showed you, the design interface, which enables you to plot out your workflow. Have we reached the end of our demo, Moni?
Yep.
Okay, so thank you, thank you very much to Moni Cohn for showing us our live QA demo.
Anytime.
And I'm going to take back the presentation here. 1 second. Okay, so very briefly, I just wanted to mention that the Sequence QA solution has been implemented in various major worldwide organizations. We have a quarantine process which we've implemented for a major pharmaceuticals company, which enables implementation of the process in a standardized manner. It enables, as we said, collaboration on tasks in an informed manner in a SharePoint interface. It's got integration with the company's existing systems. So there you've got full control over processes. You've got visibility on quality issues. You avoid risks and damages. You avoid unnecessary damage due to overreaction. And you've got visibility on quality issues and resolution at all levels here. And that's on the quarantine process. We've got another example in Hazara Genetics. We have a case study published on our website on that, which you can go to PNMsoft.com and take a look. And here we manage the seed variety development for Hazara Genetics. They develop various vegetable and grain seeds, and they're a worldwide company. And the process here ensures that the steps required for the manufacturing of these seeds are done in a quality controlled managed way, that there's tracking of the process at any point of time, that there's an ability to identify bottlenecks in the process. We've got visibility for all process owners in collaboration, and this leads to higher quality on the products. And it's all done within our single Sequence platform, which of course integrates with existing ERP systems. So let's take a look just to summarize of the benefits of the Sequence quality assurance solution: the ability to standardize and automate quality assurance processes, the management within a collaborative SharePoint interface, the content management, document management, and processes in one solution as opposed to in two different systems. We've got the ability for managers to monitor bottlenecks, to look at KPI, to optimize the flow for better future performance. We've got, on the one hand, we have these pre-built templates, but these can easily be customized to meet your organization's needs. We've got the mobile capabilities for workers on the go. We've got the ability to comply with regulations, auditing and reports, and so on. We have the ability to deploy Sequence on premises or over the cloud, and the integration capability with standard ERP, CRM systems, and so on. And finally, we've got full professional services and around-the-clock support. So we've kind of run out of time here, but I'd like to thank Moni Cohn and you for listening. You're welcome to give us your feedback on this webinar. Just write to les@pnmsoft.com or moni.co@pnmsoft.com. And thank you very much for joining us at this webinar. This webinar will be available on our website, pnmsoft.com, under webinars. And just before we go, I wanted to just show you that we have a brand new quality assurance portal on the web, which is qa.pnmsoft.com. And here you can take a look at all of these processes. We talked about non-conformities, corrective, preventive maintenance, and we have more information on each of them here on our portal. We've got case studies, as I mentioned, Hazara and so on. And this is all at qa.pnmsoft.com. I encourage you to visit the portal and take a look. Thank you very much for being with us, and stay tuned for our next webinar. All the best.